Dr. Shermer, do you believe in the existence of the mind? That is to say, the existence of immaterial things, mental events, numbers, values, laws that appear to govern propositions, like the propositional laws of logic? And if you do affirm the existence of the mind, how do you do that in a strictly materialistic sense, assuming, of course, that you are not only an atheist, but also a materialist? One final point. If you are able to give, a second part, if you are able to give a materialistic explanation, can you please explain how logic emerges from matter, and how should we trust our thinking about these things?
Oh, that's enough for a conference. Off you go, Michael. You have 30 seconds. No.
I always like it. You only get one question. Okay, I have one question in two parts. In fact, I did host a conference at Caltech on that very subject that lasted a whole weekend. Well, in short, mind is a word to describe behaviors, actions, particular cognitive processes, and so on. It's a little bit of a fuzzy word that most neuroscientists are uncomfortable using. And therefore, I think it's better to talk about specific things, like you have a particular kind of thought that drives a particular kind of behavior. What is the cause of that? And then we can track that down through fMRI brain scans, through neurochemical analysis by injecting people with oxytocin or norepinephrine or dopamine and see what kinds of behaviors are changed. So it's still strictly a materialistic worldview, a bottom-up process that explains a higher order emergent property of a complex system. No different than an economic system, an ecology. Consciousness is an emergent property of a billion neurons firing in particular patterns and nothing else.
John, would you have anything to add to that?
Well, I admire this man's faith, I really do.
No using the F word.
I am, yes. Conscience is nothing but a firing of a billion neurons, but there's not a scrap of evidence for it. Asking the neuroscientists in Cambridge, in Oxford, sorry, they tell me no one knows what consciousness is. No one even knows, ladies and gentlemen, what energy is. And I think what really this question illustrates is the difference between our two worldviews. The one worldview starts off with matter-energy, and because it doesn't believe in anything transcendent, it is forced to confine all explanation to be ultimately reductionist and totally bottom-up. And I think that that leads us to an absurdity, actually, because you cannot explain the immaterial things that you've mentioned, which really do exist, of course. We live in the information age, and information is not a material quantity, and some physicists even think it's fundamental. And I think it's easy to illustrate, and I've tried it out on many scientists and get the same answer every time. I ask reductionists to explain the semiotics of the letters on a menu, say, which says roast chicken, in terms of the physics and chemistry of the paper and ink. It cannot be done. You cannot explain the existence of something that carries meaning without inputting an intelligence. So that the biblical notion, in the beginning was the Word, makes far more sense to me than the notion in the beginning were the particles. And we have to decide which of the two worldviews makes sense. To my mind, the first one undermines rationality on which I do science.
John, if you have a stroke in the Broca's area of your left hemisphere, you will lose language. Language, all this beautiful higher order God-given stuff, it's gone if the neurons are dead. That's it. It's neurons. It's nothing more than neurons. If you have a stroke, you kill those brain cells, that's it. The function's gone. But it doesn't matter. You can pray, whatever. It's gone.
But the point... You've got a marvelous cheer group here, haven't you?
Well, you got this guy right here. He's louder.
The neurons...
Let's move along your answer there, John.
No, well, just the simple fact that if you take writing on paper, the things that carry the information are physical. And of course, if you damage my brain, that will cease to exist. But that is not an argument to saying that two things are the same thing. That's like saying the meaning of the writing is the same as the page in the ink in the book, and that's absurd nonsense.
Can we move on if we